So let me invite us to do this in a certain way, moving out of our distraction, uh, which kind of wears us down because honestly, just a moment about distraction. Every time that our attention is hijacked, even by, rather minor things, it's wicking up some glucose. It's ungrounding us. It's making it kind of challenging for us to see things clearly. And I really think we've got to see things pretty clearly right now. Not just the negative things, but seeing things clearly is to, have a deep and wide perspective. And so, what practice can assist us in is really allowing us not to be chronically hijacked or caught in distractions. And so we can come into this experience of both power and rest as we offer our attention to whatever is arising. I hope this makes sense to you. It's been helpful for me for many years to work with attention in this way, or to offer attention in this way. So we can begin with something that is still, I do, I started my practice in 1965. That's a few years. And I still use attention on the breath as a way to invite myself to drop down and to regulate my nervous system and to allow that kind of body, mind, and space to unify moment after moment. And because we come off the rails so often, we may find ourselves needing to wake up to that moment when we say, whoops, hijacked, a moment of perception, bringing us back to the breath and settling into this sense of trust, into a sense of ease within ourselves, as we might meet a world that is very uneasy. So let's begin. And I invite you to settle into wherever you're sitting. Could be on the floor, on a cushion, or in a chair, or maybe even in your bed. And find a way that you can sit where you're really comfortable and at ease. Honestly, assuming a position that is not comfortable for your body can produce a kind of aversion in you toward practice. But also being too lax, too sort of laid back, produces this sort of flaccidness of mind. So the feeling in this sitting practice, or it might be supine practice, but it's internal uprightness. And at the same time, openness. And if you want, you can let your eyes close, or you might lower your gaze, or you might be in the practice, which is very powerful in Tibetan Buddhism, of just openly gazing into space. And noticing what you do with your body, what you do with your hands, what you do with your eyes actually shapes your experience. And breath deep in the body. And as you're with the inhale and the exhale, notice the sensation of your body sitting or supine. It's very simple. Just notice. Be aware of your body in space, the posture that you're in, the pressure on points in the body, where the body is making contact with the floor, the chair, the bed. And then bring a sense of noticing the support of floor or cushion or chair or bed, supporting your body. Just keeping it really simple. And breath deep in the body. And see if you can invite yourself to relax the points of tension in the body. Noticing if there's tension in the gut or the heart or the shoulders or the jaw. Not judging, just bringing a quality of attention to those points. Not analyzing, but letting those shoulders drop. Letting the gut relax. Letting the heart open. And also invite yourself to notice the sensation of the body breathing. Take a few long, deep inhales and exhales, and bring your attention gently to the actual physical sensation of the in-breath and the out-breath. You can keep it really simple. Really allowing your attention to rest with sensation. And when you lose the thread, begin again. And it's also being aware that thoughts and feelings, sensations are constantly arising, and also being liberated, hopefully, moment after moment, or not. I mean, this is kind of normal. See if you can stay simply with the sensation of the breath. And when you lose that thread and notice it, come back without judgment if you can. Breath in the body. Just being with sensation. Just experiencing the body sitting, the body breathing. and without judgment, noticing whatever your experience is right now in the body. Letting the breath be deep in the body. Opening to whatever sensations are naturally happening in the body. Again, if possible, without judgment. And now gently, I encourage us to shift our attention to our heart, this beating heart. And allowing yourself to also, with this beating heart, be with the breathing of the body. I'm going to ask us to, if you will, reflect on one person who is, in your experience, someone who's really kind, really compassionate. Maybe someone who took care of you. Maybe it was a parent or grandparent, or even a person kind of hired to take care of you. Or maybe it's a public figure who's well known for their compassion. I'm going to ask you to, it's a kind of like a vitamin. Bring this person to mind. You know, some of us have met many people who have been kind to us, some of us not. So we'll bring to mind someone like the late Archbishop Tutu or Jane Goodall, you know, a public figure that really embodies compassion. Or someone who's been really close to you. And see if you can allow yourself to be in resonance with this person. Kind of feeling of connection, but also of gratitude. And sometimes when we do this kind of practice, a little cynicism might arise, or a little voice of ego says, I don't want to do that. Well, just notice that and turn toward that voice with kindness. But probably some of you brought, you know, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or Malala, or your mother or your grandmother, your grandfather, or a good friend or a lover into your awareness. And as a practice, I invite you to recall their kind behavior. See if you can feel in your body as you sense into them. See if you can invite yourself to be in resonance, whether it's a well-known person whom you've never met, but you've felt the benefit of their presence in the world, or maybe it's someone really close to you. See if you can really allow yourself to be in resonance, not to other them, but to connect with them. You can rest with the question, how have their actions affected yourself and others? And maybe there's a kind of feeling of, at least for some of us, I know for me, this feeling of inspiration. And of gratefulness. And not comparing ourselves to others. When I say gratefulness, like I'm grateful to have been alive, to have spent time with some really caring people. A surgeon who took care of me recently, a good Dharma friend who helps me move in the world more easily. The thought of the woman who took care of me when I was sick as a child, a Black woman whose mother had been a slave, and her unconditional care during years of being bedridden. This kind of open-heartedness. And notice as you're in this experience of resonance, of connection, whether you've ever met the person physically or not, but just bringing them to mind. If you're a Christian, it's Jesus, for example. Or maybe it's Rumi. Mohammed, a great rabbi, never met. But that sense of resonance, this kind of shared basic goodness that we're opening up to. It's watering those seeds within our experience. And see if you can really allow yourself to open to that. Maybe Maybe you're being hijacked at this very moment by thoughts that are the opposite. Well, turn toward that moment with a kind of grandmother's heart. Let the breath be deep in the body. It's kind of being soaked in, if you will, this sensibility of basic goodness. And I'd like to invite us to let this sense of resonance move into the background of our awareness. Just simply, like a cloud. It's there, it's undisturbed. And I'm going to invite us now, if you will, if you're comfortable doing this, to bring to mind someone who's really struggling. It could be someone you know personally, like someone who's received a catastrophic diagnosis or is experiencing great loss. Or it could be turning our mind to Ukraine or Gaza. And the photographs that many of us see in social media, so painful. The presence of war, of genocide, of egregious harm, of children suffering in this very moment. While most of us are, safe and fed and sheltered, and having the resource to hold the truth of that kind of suffering in this moment. What I like to do is to offer a few phrases. They're phrases that are kind of ballast and blessing as you open to coming alongside suffering. And they're phrases that instead of just offering to yourself, actually in the act of offering, you receive the benefit as well. But the phrases are directed toward the one or the ones or the situation of suffering. So breath deep in the body, remembering really why you're here. Again, bringing to mind the specificity of this person or this situation, and resting with this phrase. May you have strength in the face of any pain and suffering you are experiencing at this time. May you have strength in the face of any pain and suffering you are experiencing at this time. See if you can let this phrase inhabit you. May you have strength in the face of any pain and suffering you are experiencing at this time. Breath deep in the body. And letting that phrase move into the background of your awareness. And staying in connection with this person, this situation, this creature. And then may you accept and be free from anger, from fear, from sadness. May you be free from anger, fear, and sadness. Again, this is a kind of mutual blessing. Instead of turning away from suffering, it's bringing this sense of openness and kindness toward a situation of suffering that some would abandon. But we stay connected. And then may you be open to receive the love and care from others. May you be open to receive love and care wherever it is offered, wherever it is present. breath deep in the body. And notice, what your experience is in offering these phrases, maybe pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Maybe there's a sense of warmth or softening. Maybe you don't feel anything at all. Whatever your experience is fine. Just simply notice. Simply notice. And I invite you now to let go of the sense of the person or situation or creature or geography that you were imagining, and simply rest the attention on the body and the breath. And maybe remind yourself throughout your day to bring this spirit of this practice, the sense of this practice into your life. Like when you see someone having a difficult time, see if you can extend compassion to this one. Maybe you can't change their circumstance, but still the extending of compassion to others has great benefit.